Hello, Chris from My Stamp Lady. I'm here to show you how I've done this coloring with the Blendabilities on this card. To get started, I'm going to show you the products I used. I am using the stamp set that is called White Christmas. This is the trees from it, and then I have the car and the tree. Now it's a photopolymer set, and one thing that's nice about a photopolymer set is that you can, if it's a long, narrower image, you can kind of manipulate it a little bit. So if I were just to let it go down how it naturally came, this is how the image would be lined up. But I didn't want such a slope here, so I took and I put down the trees here, put that down, and then I gently made this straighter and then put the other tree up there. I'm not using this portion, so it's hanging off a little bit, so that's okay. So I want to only use this portion here of the image, so I'm going to be careful, and I want to make sure I don't get any ink over here, and I'm going to ink up the line and these trees. If you aren't sure if you got ink over there, make sure you wipe this part off with a toweling or something first. So now I can line up my image, and because it's photopolymer, I can see right through it. Let's stamp that and up. Oh, I got a little bit of that tree, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about that little bit there. Okay, so then the next step is I'm pulling in my car, inking up. I want the entire image, so I am going to stamp that so that it looks like it's driving on the flat portion. And the last step is taking my tree and placing that on top of the car. There we go. So there, that's how I got my tree and my car in the picture. The next step was to color it with my Blendabilities. So I'm using the Cherry Cobbler set, the Old Olive set, and the, let's see, it's called the Smoky Slate set. And so to start with, I'm going to do my tree. I am going to use the light and the medium colors of the Blendabilities. There's a bullet end and a brush end. I am going to use the brush end. Now for me it works well. I'm going to start with the brush end, and I'm starting with the light color, and I'm trying to stay inside the lines, and I'm just doing a wash over the entire tree with my light color. There. So I've done my light color. I'm going to pull in, and a couple of tips about shutting your markers is that if you line up, some people like to line it up on the paper so that they line up correctly. I also have taken where I watch the center of it, make sure my marker is pointing right in the center, and snap it down. You do want to make sure that they get snapped closed. If they don't, they'll dry up a little more quickly on you. So now I'm just going to take a flicking motion with my medium Old Olive, my darker color, and just I'm getting the tips of the branches, just getting the end of the branches, just like that, getting the ends. So now it's a little darker on the ends, or where you can see that the branches are separated. See if you can see that better. Make sure, there we go. Let's see, I'm going to test lining or coming in a little closer on my coloring here. So I'm going to pull back in my lighter color marker, and I'm going to go over the entire tree again, and this is to blend those darker spots in with the lighter spots. For me, it works really well to go from lighter to darker and then back to lighter. I like starting with the light, and then I like giving it a kind of the blending at the end. I'm going to pull in my medium. Part of working with Blendabilities I've learned is just getting, playing with it until it looks how you want it. I want these a little bit darker, so I'm going to pull that in. There we go. And then if you want, I can go back in and blend that a bit more. So you'll see that that's a big part of working with the Blendabilities, is playing with it until you get it how you want it to be. Okay, so then to do my car, I'm going to, again, just use, this is a small image, I'm just using my light and my medium color. I'm not using the dark one. I'm going to give it that flood of light color at first. So let's go in there. And some people prefer to use the bullet end when they're using really small areas like this. I do tend to use my marker straight up and down. Just getting the tip short little strokes. Okay, so I have my first layer. I'm actually, I misspoke earlier, I'm not going to use the medium, I'm going to only use the light. Now I'm going to pull in my lightest smoky slate, and to get a little bit of shading or shadowing here at the bottom, I'm just going to apply just a little bit of the smoky slate along the bottom of the car. Okay, so you can see I've just lightly colored the bottom of the car, and then I'm going to pull back in my lightest cherry cobbler and blend that color in. Going back over it with the lightest one and blending that in so you can't see the distinct line of where the gray is. This is one way to get some light shadowing. And blending that back in. There we go. And there's my car. It's got a little darker area towards the bottom. Trying to see if we can see that. Okay. So then I'm going to pull back in my light smoky slate, and I'm going to take and just color in my tree, short strokes, just using the tip of the brush. Some of the really narrow spots up here, I think I'll grab the bullet end and just, again, still though with the short strokes. Play around with it, see what works best for you. Okay, there we go. And we're almost done with this tree. Making sure you cover up your image, or your markers, I'm sorry, your markers every time. Let's pull in the dark. I'm pulling in the dark marker, and we'll use the brush end here, and I'm going to color my wheels, or tires actually. Get the light up there, the bumper. There we go. And that's it. That's how I colored in my image with the Blendabilities. And that's the only part I'm going to share on this card. You can see how I finished it up here with, so I put a little bit of glitter here along the bottom to get that to be some sparkly snow, a little bit of cherry cobbler sentiment there, and then finished up the card. Let me scoot back out here for you. There we go. Finished up the card. If you have any questions about what I've done, don't hesitate to contact me, Chris, at mystamplady.com. All of the supplies are available in my online store at shopwithmystamplady.com. Thanks for watching.